Okay, welcome everybody. I make it time to get started. I'm Professor Tim Campbell, a visiting Professor of International Management at the University of Northampton, and it gives me great pleasure to welcome you to this webinar all about the MBA program that we run over here in the United Arab Emirates. What we shall do is just about 10 or 15 minutes from me, where I'm just going to tell you about some key points about the program from my perspective. And then after that, I'll take any questions that you might have about the program itself. So the first thing I'll do is let's just tell you a little bit about the program and the University of Northampton. But first and foremost, I'll just tell you about Stafford, because that's the company that would have gotten you to this webinar in the first place. You would have had a look at the website, I'm sure, and been talking to the academic consultants there. So I just wanted to make it clear what the role of Stafford was before moving on to the University of Northampton. So Stafford was the very first provider of distance learning education in the Middle East over 25 years ago now, and currently represents 5 British universities and has programs from certificates all the way up to doctorates. In fact, it has the University of Northampton's DBA program as well as the MBA program. And what the company does, it offers marketing, recruitment, administration, and student support services to the partner universities. So in the case of the University of Northampton, it does all those things for the MBA program and the DBA, as I mentioned. But for the MBA program, it offers marketing and recruitment. You'll be talking to the consultants, take you through the application process, and get you enrolled onto the program. And that, of course, is much easier for Stafford to do based in the United Arab Emirates than it is to do from the home campus at the University of Northampton. But what's absolutely crucial, once you enroll on that onto the MBA, you are entirely a student of the University of Northampton, will be awarded a degree from the university solely. Of course, all the tutors will be from the University of Northampton, and all of the academics will come from there. So that's just a word about how Stafford fits in with the university. Now, Northampton. The University of Northampton is, as you probably guessed, in Northampton. And I'll put a big arrow there on my map of the UK to show where Northampton is. And it's about 100 miles north of London, about an hour in a train. And it's an old historic town, Northampton. There's been settlements there for thousands of years, and it appears throughout British history. And in Northampton, well, it used to be just on the outskirts of Northampton, you would find the university. But the university actually built a brand new campus. It just opened a year ago, worth $500 million, spent $500 million on this, and you'll now find the university right in the center of Northampton. So it's a major project. And my slide here, if you think of everything within those red dots there, that's all now the new university's campus. And in fact, on my very first slide, if I just go back, there's me when I visited the campus just after it opened, just in one of its entrances. So it's a very impressive place. And really goes to show about the amount of investment that the university is putting in. So the university you'll find in that British town of Northampton. A little bit about the university, although please do go to the university's website and you'll find out lots more about it. But basically education in Northampton dates back hundreds of years, but the modern university's origins begin in about the 1920s. Up until today, with it, as I just mentioned, with this brand new campus. It has about 14,000 students and about 1,500 staff, and does do a lot of off-campus work, so a lot of things such as we do here in the United Arab Emirates and different parts of the world. There's only 2 official rankings for British universities. We call them official because they are run by the UK government and they're mandatory. Not like any other league table or ranking that you will ever see, which isn't mandatory and isn't run by the UK government. There's only 2 that are. One's called the Teaching Excellence Framework and one's called the Research Excellence Framework. And Northampton has been awarded Gold, which is the highest award in the Teaching Excellence Framework. And just one other highlight I've put on this slide. The university was shortlisted for 3 years in a row for the Business School of the Year for the Times Higher Education Awards. And there's more than 120 business schools in the UK. Only 6 are nominated each year. So they managed it 3 years in a row, which is a good achievement. But as I say, please do go to the website. You'll find out lots more about Northampton. Because what I really want to get onto is this MBA program that you're interested in. And this slide here shows how it goes. Shows the different modules that you study. And you start off on the top left there with critical issues in business, and you make your way around until you finish the business research project, which some of you will know from your undergraduate studies is a dissertation, but of course at master's level. So the modules themselves are a nice mix of a traditional MBA, and by traditional I mean MBAs, when they were very first developed, the idea of them was to get managers to be able to understand the different functions of business. So you would study finance and accounting and marketing, etc., etc. So all of that is still here, but also there's some nice contemporary issues as well, such as critical issues in business, which looks at risk and social responsibility. There's a whole module on leadership, which we talk a lot about now, leadership in business, more so than we do about management, actually. And innovation, of course, and other of these topics that we study in today's business environment. So it's a nice mix of the old and new in the program. So there's 8 modules. And in fact, let me come back to this slide. Let me just continue. Let me just tell you about the full MBA first, how it actually runs. So if you were to make your way around those 8 modules, it takes you about 18 months from start to finish. There's 7 workshops because critical issues, those first 2, and managing organizational behavior, they're taught together. So they take a Thursday, Friday, and a Saturday. Then after that, every other module is just the 2 days, the Friday and the Saturday. So there's 7 workshops in total that are taught here in the United Arab Emirates. So as I mentioned, 1 3-day workshop followed by 6 2-day weekend workshops. When I say weekend, I mean the weekend that we have here in the UAE, which is a Friday and a Saturday. And they're about 10 weeks apart. So you do 1 workshop, about 10 weeks later, you'll come and do your next one. So it's a nice, simple way, if you like, of getting through the MBA program, of doing 1 module, getting the assessments done before the start of the next module, and then moving on and sequentially making your way through it. As I put there, we just started intake 22 about a week ago. So the next start date is intake 23, which will be on the 27th, 28th, and 29th of February 2020. So we do 3 intakes a year. So this is intake 23. So that's been nearly 8 years we've been running the program here in the United Arab Emirates. Of course, it's been running on campus for a lot longer than that. Now, let me just go back to the slide about top-ups, because some of you may be interested in that. There might be some of you listening here who already have 120 credits at level 7. And I've just given some examples here of what might constitute that. For example, you've already done a postgraduate diploma in management studies from a British university. You may have done the ATHE level 7 extended diploma in strategic management or something similar. If you have done that, you can just top up to the MBA by doing 2 modules, critical issues in the business research project, either online or with the workshop. So I'm sure most of you are here more interested in the full MBA, but just for some of you who have studied at level 7 already, this is an option, and your academic consultant at Stafford can help you out if you're not sure about this. Okay, so that's how the MBA program works. 18 months start to finish with taught face-to-face workshops from the University of Northampton faculty here in the United Arab Emirates. Now, I often ask what actually happens in these workshops. And I teach one of the modules. I teach managing and organizational behavior. So, but I can say that it depends on the subject and it depends on the tutor. But generally, what we seek to do in those workshops is to introduce the key concepts. And we don't just lecture for 2 days. We use short case studies and business games and exercises and whatever that your tutor thinks is useful. We also demonstrate where to find the resources. We'll show you how to use the university's electronic library, where everything is. You don't need to get any physical books anymore. And an important part of the workshop is to explain how to successfully complete the assignments as well. So that's generally what we seek to do in the face-to-face part in those workshops. And of course, it's also very useful for yourself to meet other people in the class as well. And they really are enjoyable, the workshops too. As I put here, the student satisfaction's over 95%. So they're an important part of the MBA program. And then what happens after the workshop is that we have what's called a NILE site. It's just a virtual learning environment. Basically, think of it as a website. Every module has one. We will post all the lecture slides. There's discussion boards. It's where you access the library, submit the assignments, all of this type of thing. After the face-to-face, you use that site to be able to complete the assignments and hand them in. Speaking of assessments, how are you assessed? All modules are assessed through assignments. So they're some form of an assignment. So an essay, reports, case studies, even the finance module, 50% of it is just an online multiple choice quiz, but there are no exams. All of them are some form of an assignment. There's no formal written exams. And the reason is Northampton thinks assignments are far more useful in assessing knowledge because they give you the opportunity to actually express knowledge and to actually find sources of information and then bring that all together, whereas exams is really more about just how much you can remember. So your assessment is all assignments, and your business research project, which is your dissertation, is about 15,000 words, and that's your big project on the MBA. Entry requirements are fairly standard, a bachelor's degree and 2 years relevant work experience. But if you don't have the bachelor's, we're looking for at least 5 years of relevant work experience. And when I say relevant, it doesn't mean that you need to have the title manager and rather the word manager in your job title. It just means that you can demonstrate managerial responsibilities. So somewhere in your job, you're responsible for planning, organizing, leading, or controlling work. And most of you will find, if you've had a number of years experience, you will have those. You will have those somewhere in your jobs. Just another few things from me. Lots of support on the program. There's the international program leader, who's a lady called Rani, and she's based obviously at the campus of the University of Northampton. And you'll meet her on the program. She teaches the business research project module. There's a local program leader. That's the role that I fulfill, and you'll meet me at the very first workshop. Every module has its own specialist tutor. There's administration from Northampton, and then if you get stuck, you can't find what you're looking for at the university, we can help you with your Stafford academic consultants can help you find where to go. There's, and I mentioned this, NILE, the Northampton Integrated Learning Environment. That's the university's VLE, virtual learning environment, where you find all of this stuff to help you support you through your studies, everything you need, and of course that very important online library. Just a word from me then to finish off. Why the Northampton MBA? And bearing in mind that I've taught on an awful lot of MBA programs over the years. I can't even remember how many. And I've taught on different ones with various universities of various lengths, and that vary in a number of different ways. So why do I particularly like the University of Northampton? I think the first point I put there is the fees. Because remember, this is not an online course. This is a taught fly-in faculty program. And if you have a look at the Stafford Global website, you'll get the most up-to-date fee information. So please have a look there. You see, for this type of a delivery, it's very reasonably priced for an MBA from a UK governmental university. Also, the duration. I find 18 months just about right for an MBA program, for a part-time MBA program. It's not too long where students lose motivation, and it's not too short where there's simply too much to do in too short a time. There's lots of support locally from the university itself. The teaching is extremely good, and the methods of assessment are very practically linked. And my last point strongly emphasizes vocational or job learning as well as theories. This is attractive to employees who are more interested in practical knowledge and also makes studying for the MBA more enjoyable and relevant for the students. What I mean by that is the university in the MBA program, we very much talk about not just the theories of management, but how you can actually be a better manager. And that's, of course, very important for you at work and how you're eventually going to be assessed at work. Okay, that's enough from me. They're the key points about the MBA program. What's important, of course, is some questions that you've got that you want to ask me. As I say, I teach on the program. I know all about it. I hope I can answer just about any question. The easiest way to do that is to use your little question thing on the right there. It's just easier than opening up mics and things, and I will answer them all. Let me just bring it in front of me. Here we go. Okay, so first question. I have completed a postgraduate diploma from another university. Can I get an exemption? Yes, if you've got a postgraduate diploma from another university, you may well be eligible to do just the MBA top-up route, or if you don't, or perhaps if you don't get onto the full top-up, you'll certainly be eligible for exemptions. So please talk to your academic consultant at Stafford about that. I've been informed to submit a personal statement. Why is this important, and what does the university look for? The personal statement, they're really wanting to know your motivations for studying an MBA. They want to know about your work, what you're doing at the moment. And from that, they're trying to figure out, have you got the time to study for the MBA? They're trying to figure out, is this the best program for you? Have you got the most chance of success? These types of things. So a personal statement is important. Demonstrate that you do have the time and the motivation to complete the MBA, and demonstrate what it's going to do for you in the future, and that you've really thought about these things. Do I have a second chance to submit an assignment if I fail? Yes, you do. You have a first sit, and then it will go to the tutor to be marked, and if you don't pass the first time, you do automatically get a chance to resit the assignment. So you do get a second chance. What career opportunities will the MBA provide me? The MBA provides, people generally do the MBA for promotion within their organization or to move to different industries, management position in different industries. Some will use it to start their own businesses, entrepreneurs, because it's important for these people that they need to understand something about marketing and finance and all of the different aspects of a business. So we get people who want to start their own businesses. As I say, people who do promotions or go into different industries, career development, but even some people do it just for their own personal benefit as well. So there's a wide range of reasons for doing an MBA, but certainly considering the job market at the moment, having an MBA does it makes people look at you more than they will without an MBA. There's no doubt about that. There are 6 of us who want to start this program together. Will there be a discount in the fees? Yeah, I'm sure if you have a word with your academic consultant that they'll be able to help you out with that if there is a group of you looking to join. Do I need to do an IELTS test to get on the program? No, if you have a bachelor's degree and that was in English, or if you're a bachelor's degree in English, then you don't have to do one, of course. If you're from an English-speaking country, obviously you don't need to do one. But if when you apply that we think that you do need to test your English, what we do is you will speak to a lady who will assess your English via interview. So you don't need to do an IELTS. We assess it via interview with a phone interview. Yeah, I got there in the end with that one. I've been told that the workshops are highly recommended. What happens if I don't attend the workshops? Yeah, the workshops are a crucial part of the program. Remember what I said, it's not an online program, it's a part-time taught program. So these face-to-face elements are extremely important. That said, they're not compulsory. So if something happens and you couldn't make a workshop, Remember, the tutor's contact details and all the materials will be on that NILE site, on that virtual learning environment. So you will be able to catch up. But as I say, those workshops, always try and make them if you can. If I emigrate to the UK, can I continue with the MBA on campus? Well, technically you could, because you're doing exactly the same things as the on-campus students do. It's just more a matter of timing and practicalities, really, because the program over here, the module that you're on, may not necessarily be running at the same time on campus. So the short answer is yes, because the program is just the same as on campus, but practically, you're best to stick with your intake, if you can. What is involved in a dissertation? Dissertation, I think, is the best part of a master's degree, of an MBA for the student. It's when you actually do some original research of your own. And a lot of people will choose a management problem within their own organization. And then you're taught how to actually research a problem and come to conclusions. And that's what your dissertation, or as we call it, the business research project, is all about. It's a really interesting thing where you actually come up with your own conclusions based on your own research. Can I complete all the study online without visiting the UAE? Well, yeah, now that's a good question, but it's a tough one. I've mentioned how important these workshops are. So yes, technically you can. The workshops aren't compulsory, but you would miss such an important part if you did miss those workshops. You'd miss meeting your tutors from the university, and you'd miss meeting your classmates and all that thing that's so important. But yes, it is technically possible. Why does this MBA not have the Association of MBA accreditation? I could talk about that for an awfully long time. Basically, the Association of MBAs is just a private organization that will accredit a university's MBA program with their stamp. Bear in mind, they're not related to any government authority in any way or anything else. It's simply a private company who will give that stamp if that university asks them to come in, pay a lot of money, and audit their program for them. There's pros and cons to doing that, but it does mean it restricts very much what you can do on your MBA program, and often it means the MBA program becomes more expensive. And so there are pros and cons to this, but it doesn't really suit the University of Northampton. Their MBA program is already, of course, accredited by the UK government's Quality Assurance Agency. I have many years management experience. Can I get exempted from any subjects? Not from management experience, because you may have lots of experience as a marketer, for example, but if you still come to that marketing workshop, I guarantee you'll learn something about marketing. So not based on experience. Why can I not take 2 modules at the same time so I can finish the program in a shorter period? No, we do. We have a set timetable that I'm sure if your academic consultant's not already given you, I'm sure they will. And you'll see they are sequential, one after the other. Trying to do 2 at one time would simply be, would be too much. It would be too much. It's far better. You're far better to do your best on this program, not think about doing it quickly. 18 months isn't very long anyway. Trust me, once you start, it finishes very quickly. So it's much better, just focus on one at a time. That's much better for all of our students. The first workshop is the most important, this next question is saying. Why so? And it is, because in the first workshop, we're not just talking about a particular subject, we're teaching you skills that you'll need for the whole MBA program, such as academic writing, where to find information, referencing, all of these types of things. So that's why that first workshop is particularly important. If I cannot attend the graduation in the UK, how do I get my degree certificate? They will courier it to you. They'll send it to you. No problem with that. Although I very much recommend, if you can, to go to that ceremony. It's a really great day, and we have a big group of students who go every time. And I was there myself at the February that was start of the year, the February graduation, and it's a very nice day. So if you can, get there for the graduation. If not, it'll be all couriered to you. Where am I? Have a look at the university website, and the modules offered via Stafford differ to those on the website. Why is this so? Yeah, so we do a general MBA program. So for us, we picked what we think are the best modules to put together this United Arab Emirates program. If you were to go on campus, you do get more choice. I suppose in a way it's because they have more numbers. They have hundreds of students who study on campus as well, which means they can offer different modules and electives. But what I think we've done here in the UAE is we've picked the very best. And so we've got a program that suits everybody. So that's really the reason why. It's more of a practical thing. In your opinion, is the MBA very difficult? Do you think I will manage as I have high position and lots of responsibilities? Well, the good thing is that the vast majority of students pass the MBA. So if you put your mind to it, you will, in all probability, pass. Those who don't generally pass are people who don't get to the end. It tends to be more of a thing where they lose motivation or something happens and they just can't do it. It's not so much academic reasons. We know if you apply yourself, you will pass. But I don't mean to say it's easy. It is a master's level course, but we know the success rates are very good. Do I have the option to attend workshops in the UK? As I mentioned with one of the other questions, it's the same program. It's just they just teach it differently over there. It's not the Friday, Saturday teaching that we do over here. So it's more of a practical issue. But if you really did have to go to the UK for some reason, then we could sort it out. But I would suggest stick with your intake here in the UAE. Stick with the workshops there. What would happen if I can't make the workshops? Yeah, so as I said, if you can't make a workshop, obviously I recommend them, but if something happens you can't make it, all the materials and the contact details, the assignments and everything will be on the Nile site, on the BLE. Will tutors check my draft before I send the final one? Yes, they will. We will have they will have a review of your draft. And last very question, what MBA specialisms do you offer? That's actually an easy one, Ephraim, because we don't offer any specializations. This is a general MBA program, and there's a lot of positives to that. Basically, when MBAs were very first thought about and formulated over in America over 100 years ago, they never had specializations. They were meant for managers in any industry, in any size of business, public sector, voluntary, private sector, it didn't matter. They thought to be a better manager, you need to know about the functions of business. So they're all designed the same way. You study finance, accounting, marketing, sales, whatever, the functions of the business. Now, over the years, the MBA has developed, and other MBAs are offering specialisms, but still the core of the MBA is a general MBA, and that's what the most people will do. So for our one, no specializations, you do the general MBA, and that will keep your options open. That means it's relevant to any type of industry and any type of position. Alrighty then, look at that, perfect timing. Okay, thanks everyone for those questions, and I've managed to get through them all. If you do have anything else you need to ask me, let me give you my email. There you go. Anything that occurs to you, more than happy just to give me an email and to ask me about that. Now there's a bit of time until the next intake at the end of February, as I mentioned, but please don't leave it till the last minute. It's far better to get the applications in because the applications take time to process, etc. So it may seem like a long way away, but it won't be. The time will go very quickly. And I hope that I will see you in that February workshop and be able to put some faces to names. Okay, so thanks very much for listening, everybody. Have a great night wherever you are.